Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the latest in the Elevenses series. My name is Stephen Power. I'm an agency development manager on the UK agency team and also part of the mobile product expert group.
Morning, everyone. My name is Niall. Steve, I'm a account strategist on our UK team and also a member of our mobile products expert group too.
You see the other two members here, Rod and Todd, as well with us today. I hope everyone's laughing. Well, Niall's laughing at least. There you go. So there's a bit of atmosphere in the room. Anyway, we're here today to tell you how to supercharge your mobile user experience. Well, firstly, we're gonna reinforce how important this is in this day and age, and secondly, we're going to tell you about two features and services that we have here at Google that can help you achieve this. So I'll hop into why it's so important. According to research done by Intel, by 2020, each person will have an average of 26 connected smart devices. That's up to 200 billion in the globe from 2 billion in 2006. We're seeing behavior get affected by this. Obviously, our smartphone will be at the center of these myriad of devices. And we are getting more and more demanding as consumers and people of our smartphones and more impatient. One of the stats here is quite interesting. When people have a negative experience with your brand on mobile, they're actually 62% less likely to make a purchase. So that's quite a scary stat, bringing it straight in from the general to the particular here and going straight into brands. Here's a picture of a goldfish. There's a myth out there that goldfish have a 3-second attention span. I don't think it's quite true. I think the human attention span is now down to 9 seconds from something like 15 in 1990. So we're getting more impatient. But why is 3 seconds so important? If your page takes 3 seconds or longer to load, 53% of people will drop off the site. Now, that's quite scary because 3 seconds does seem like a short time. I'm sure there are a lot of you guys there and your clients a little bit scared of that fact. So there really is a new bar being set for mobile experiences. We need to be fast as businesses and agencies to keep up with our consumers. We need to be intuitive and seamless. The sites need to be reliable, even in poor connected areas, and they also need to be engaging. So this is the new bar for mobile experiences. And with that, I'm going to pass you on to Niall to show you how we can help.
Yes, thanks, Stephen. So I'd like to start this section with a concern that we often hear from our clients, and that is because their mobile site is relatively old, they feel that there's no way that they can really compete with newer sites. Well, as Cristiano Ronaldo proved at this year's World Cup, age is but a number. Yes, despite turning 33 this year, he clocked up a top speed of 34 kilometers an hour during Portugal's 3-3 draw with Spain, the fastest of all 736 players at the tournament. Incidentally, 34 kilometers an hour is the top speed of which animal, Stephen?
Well, aside from me, I don't know, maybe cheetah, leopard?
The goat.
I don't agree with that.
All legends aside, new technologies such as accelerated mobile pages or gPay, which we're going to deep dive into in a few minutes, can transform even aging websites into best-in-class performers. So consider this. In most site discussions, even now, the first things people tend to focus on are how a website looks, what does it do, and lastly, how fast is it? We need to flip this idea on its head. So speed simply has to become the #1 priority going forward, followed by the basic functionality. And in fact, the look and feel should only be tackled after those first two criteria have been satisfied. Another useful visualization, I think, for us to make is to compare your laptop and your phone. And think of the difference in the processing power between the two of them. The two simply can't compete. Similarly, if we look at 3G/4G networks versus Wi-Fi, in general, there's only going to be one winner, and that's Wi-Fi. So this further underlines the importance of making sites, sites, I should say, as lean and as light and as fast loading as possible. And that's where I'd really encourage us to explore this kind of open source initiative now that we have, known as AMP, or the accelerated mobile pages. So the average load time for these pages on search is a mere 0.8 seconds. And again, they're typically far lighter, leaner in page weight, downloading 10 times less data on average than regular mobile pages. And because they have that less than 1 second average load time, it delivers on many different levels. So it delights the customers, of course, with the experience they receive. You've got improved customer acquisition rates, engagement rates, and critically, of course, there's that proven conversion uplift too. So again, as we just mentioned, AMP load pages, they load 85% faster than your standard mobile pages. And again, the ability to cache some of your website's pages already in search so that it's pre-rendered before a user even clicks on your site, again, is a key benefit that it offers. 80% of development teams that build AMP landing pages in less than 1 week. Again, that's a kind of a common misconception that people have, that this is a long-term kind of play. It's going to take you're going to get tied down a lot of development work, but it actually can be a very, very quick turnaround indeed. Two major benefits of AMP to keep in mind. Again, lightning fast pages, as we've touched upon, and also the fact that it provides that smooth experience with great customization available as well, and design capabilities, so you can really tailor it to the user experience that you want to cultivate for your particular brand, your particular business. Just before we move on, I think it's useful to look at a specific kind of case study from the UK. For example, so if we look at George, one of Asda's key brands, of course, so they were, they're facing a kind of the three main challenges: culture, people, and insight. And I think it's those three challenges are what a lot of brands face right now. And so what George.com decided to do is really tackle them head on, I should say, by embracing this mobile first approach, and then investing in new technologies which would then safeguard an exceptional mobile experience going into the future, and gathering proof points at the same time to justify further mobile development. So that continuous feel. So after attending a Google Hackathon event, in fact, Asda conducted some analysis into accelerated mobile pages. And while AMP technology was initially used in its early days by news publishers, the Asda team saw its value in stepping up page load time in the e-commerce arena as well. So today, over 23,000 of their pages are live across George.com's product listings and content pages, which is great to see. So what have been the results really that they've seen since the adoption of AMP? Their site speed is now 1.71 times faster, which has produced a notable impact on engagement, which of course is the bottom line that we're looking at here. So there's been a 32% increase in their click-through rate from organic mobile traffic for their top 500 AMP queries, while page views per visit, which again is another really key success metric, have leapt up by 15%. So Perry Lally, who is the senior product manager for Walmart, which is of course Asda's parent company, he put it very nicely. He said, what we need to remember is site speed and performance have a direct correlation to key metrics such as conversion, revenue per visit, average order value, and so forth. So if your site is fast and it doesn't have performance related issues, customers will engage. And before I hand you back to Stephen, I'll just leave you with this thought. AMP can be thought of as a really valuable insurance measure. So even if it's not feasible right now to revamp your entire website, the technology allows you to ensure that at least your most critical landing pages are delivering the best user experience that they possibly can.
Cool.
Oh, sorry. I should say before I finish there. I mean, all that sounds great about AMP, but how do we actually get started? So we've got two kind of key options open to us. So the first is if you look at that URL you can see on screen right now, we've got ampproject.org. That's going to be your best friend in really finding step-by-step instructions and a wealth of different resources to help you get started with AMP. Alternatively, if you do have an existing Google account management team, definitely reach out to them about this. It may well be that you're eligible for AMP creation support too, but those are your two options.
Thanks very much, Niall. Hold on to your hats, folks. I'm going to hit you with another couple of stats here. You ready? Right. Okay. This is a nice segue into gPay. Quite interesting stats. 70% of smartphone users drop off because it takes too many steps to actually purchase. I'm sure everybody listening and even speaking, myself and Niall, have experienced this at some point. You get a bit frustrated because there are just far too many steps. They're asking for too much information or making it a little bit too difficult to enter that information, and you drop off. Also, 2 out of 3 shoppers will abandon cart if their preferred payment option is not available. Larry Logan, CMO of Digimark, wonderful quote here from Larry. Checkout is the last opportunity a retailer has to make a positive impression on a user. I think a lot of retailers are making a negative impression on a user just at the moment due to the amount of steps, difficult payment options, etc. That's not good in a world where this year it looks to be hitting 2 billion mobile e-commerce transactions. Here's the current general checkout experience. So on average, there are 6 steps. It takes 3 minutes and 120 taps. This is just a common theme, I would say, for everybody watching this. You got your bag, you want to go and check out. Then you have to choose your shipping method. Then you go to the next page, it's shipping info. Then we got a payment method. Then we got billing info. And finally, order confirmation. On average, 3 minutes and 120 taps. No wonder 70% of people drop off. So we've come up with a better way to pay. It's called gPay. As a consumer, very, very handy. All you do is enter your preferred payment method, credit card details into gPay, and you can pay contactless at most retailers, shops, pubs, etc., and also on a lot of online stores at the moment. So very, very handy for the consumer. You don't have to enter your billing information, shipping information, all those things every time. You just click on the Buy with gPay icon. Very handy, of course, for a business. Why would a business use it? Because you just get more people buying off you. And is it easy to set up? Yes, it is. So why would you use it? Increase sales. So checkout is simple and fast. Once you decrease your customers' time to buy, your conversions and your revenue goes up. Global reach. So Google has billions of users, hundreds of millions of cards on file around the globe. It's easy integration. We've got a link at the end, actually probably below the video as well, for the developers' rules. But I believe it's only a very, 10-line API. I'm not the most technical person here, but 10 lines of code, so very, very simple for any developer. And you can start getting paid and up and running in under a week. There are no fees, so it's free. And you reduce the risk and exposure to fraud. So, moving on. Niall, final touches.
Thank you, Stephen. So just to take us home, we thought we'd leave you with a few kind of little takeaways. So the first is that mobile really is becoming extremely prevalent in our largest seasonal spikes. So the one you'll see on screen right now is of course clearing, which is this is really the I suppose the Black Friday, as it were, for universities and all associated industries right now. So what's really noticeable here is that for the first time in August 2018. The that mobile, the mobile audience will surpass that of desktop. So really, it's definitely kind of an important inflection point, and it's one that we should really take note of. Similarly, if we have a look to last year, Cyber Week, it was really record-setting. In the US, for example, it was for mobile, it was the first 2 billion plus day ever recorded. And again, I suppose that the key takeaway there is that mobile really is now the de facto platform for shoppers online. So just as Stephen alluded to there, a few useful resources which we'll leave up there. Again, hopefully we'll get them in the comment section as well below the video. But again, covers a lot of what we discussed today, as well as a few other very more basic but still equally valuable resources to really help you identify the lowest hanging fruit, the quickest wins, to improve that mobile user experience. And then just a final thought that we thought we would leave you with. So picture this: it's August, of course. Finally, time for that summer holiday that you've been looking forward to for so long. You've just arrived at your favorite beach. You're ready to hit the water when disaster strikes. You realize that you've completely forgotten your swimwear. So in desperation, you head to the nearest shop. You reach the door, only to be greeted with a sign that says "Back in 15 minutes." So what do? Well, naturally, your holiday time is precious. So you walk to the next shop a few doors down. It's open for business, and you buy your swimming gear in there instead. So what's the moral of the story? Don't be that first shop. Invest in your user's experience now, and you'll reap the rewards in the weeks, months, and even years to come. And remember that improving your mobile UX benefits your entire business, not just PPC. On behalf of myself, Stephen, and the entire Google Partners team, I'd like to thank you for tuning in this morning, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, guys.